should you buy a Ninja 500 in general? But also, should you buy it as your first bike? Because that's exactly what I did. I have 6 points to touch on. We're gonna touch on all 6 of those points, and you're gonna know exactly if this bike is right for you or not. And I forgot to buckle my helmet. Who else forgets to buckle their helmet? Helmet is on, officially. Let's get into this. Is the Ninja 500 powerful enough? Let's get into that. So the Ninja 500 makes 51 horsepower. It's a parallel twin. It's not a lot of horsepower, but it has a lot of torque. Meaning you don't have to always rev it out. It's great for riding around the city. And it's great for a beginner. Even though it has a lot of torque, if you hit the gas accidentally, downshifting too much, or just make any mistake, it's very forgiving. As you can see right there, it's plenty quick to get up. That's not even full throttle. That might not even be half throttle. But we'll get into how quick it is later. I'll do a little pull for you guys. Little downshifts. Next, we're going to talk about the ergonomics. The ergonomics of the Ninja 500 are amazing. I came from a Honda Grom. Coming from a Honda Grom, you definitely sit in a more sporty position. So when you first get on the bike, you're gonna think you're in like a race position when you go sit on it at the dealer. But after riding it for a couple of weeks, or if this is your first bike, you're gonna realize that the seating position is not too bad. My bike was brand new when I bought it. It's a 2026. The MSRP on it at the dealer, it was marked down a little bit, I think. It was $52.99. And after all of the tax and fees, which is where they kill you, I paid $7,100 out the door. That is average. That is what most people are paying out the door for these bikes. So if you can get it around 7, if you can get it under 7, then you are set. That's a great deal if it's brand new. Next up, we have fuel economy. Fuel economy, of course, is great. I'm averaging 60 miles to the gallon. For this video, I'm driving moderate or, you know, friendly, but usually I'm ripping it all the time. So yeah, 60 miles a gallon is amazing when I'm able to just rip it all I want. Let's talk about insurance. Insurance for me is $100 a month. I am 27 years old. I do not have an accident history. I've been in a couple accidents, but none are my fault, so I don't think that affects the price. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, around $100 a month. If you're a younger rider, it might be a lot more. Under 25 years old. Also, this is compared to a 600 or a Super Sport. Just the fact that it's a parallel twin, even though it's a 500cc, well, it's technically 451, but even it's going to be so much cheaper to insure, especially for younger riders. So take that into consideration. We're going to talk about, are you going to outgrow it? Let me be completely honest. So you won't grow out of it. You can't grow out of this bike. There's people, I mean, you could, but it would take years and years of riding, but you're not going to grow out of it. What's going to happen is you're just going to want more speed. Even though it's in a straight line, you're just going to crave more power and speed, and eventually you're going to upgrade. But this bike is going to be good for you for a couple years. I mean, I'm in my first season with it. I just put some mods on it, and it's like it's brand new again, and I am going to be so excited for next season. So I would say no, you won't outgrow it. You're just gonna want to go faster, like everybody. Well, my light's not turning, so I'm just going to turn here. I hate when that happens. If you're a beginner, it's something you're gonna run into, unless it's just my city, but the lights just don't change, man. turn here, why not? Let's talk about the competitors. There's two major competitors. There's the Yamaha R3, and let's talk about that one first. So the Yamaha R3, I have not ridden one, but I have done extensive research trying to buy this bike. And my thoughts on the Yamaha R3 is it's almost the same bike. It's just the Ninja is going to be a little quicker, and it's going to be a little bit better on the highway just because it's a little heavier and it's got the larger displacement. Now, the Yamaha R3, the main complaint I hear with it is how light it is. I hear it's squirrely on the highway, and for a beginner rider, if you're a beginner, that is not something you're gonna like. I have already experienced crosswind for the first time. It's pretty sketchy. But you just got to trust the bike. But I personally would just go with the little higher punching horsepower bike like this, and the little bit more weight it has added. And yeah, that's why I think you should get the Ninja over the R3. The next competition is going to be the Aprilia R457. Now, the Aprilia is going to sound a lot cooler. It's going to have a lot of cool tech, but the Kawasaki reliability is what is unmatched. So if you want bulletproof reliability, just a great bike all around, and something that's going to hold its value when you go trade it in for that bigger bike later on, sorry, you're going to want the Ninja 500. It sounds fucking awesome. I don't care what anyone says. Like I said, more tech with the Aprilia, better sound. The R3 I just wouldn't even consider at this point until they revamp it to compete with this bike. I think the Kawasaki Ninja is going to be your best bet, and if you get this bike, you will absolutely love it, I promise. Now, the real question is this light going to turn for me, huh? I'm going to try like scoot up. Oh, it turned! Let's go! Let's talk about the Ninja 500 on the highway specifically. I know a lot of people want to know how it performs on the highway, and I will give you exactly that right now. I'm not going to get on the highway because technically by law I still have a learner's permit. I haven't gone to the MSF, so on YouTube video I just won't be getting on the highway, if that's okay with you guys. But yes, so the Ninja 500 is great on the highway in my opinion. You can be in 6th gear at 65 miles an hour, and if you want to go blow past someone, you can easily get up in 6th gear. You don't have to downshift. As far as RPMs, when I'm in 6th gear cruising at 70, I'm around 4,500, 5,000 RPMs, which is great. When you kick it up to 80 to cruise with traffic, you're at around 6,000, 6,500, which is good. It's not screaming at you, and that's another reason I like having the baffle in this exhaust, is I just don't have to deal with the drone on the highway. So I would recommend getting an exhaust with a baffle so you can try it with and without. And of course, we've already talked about the power, but merging onto the highway is no problem at all. This bike is quick. Like I said, guys, it is faster than my Tesla, I promise you. Alright, so our final point we will be touching on today is, should you buy the Ninja 500? The answer is yes. If you want bulletproof reliability that Kawasaki offers, you want the dual sport, not dual sport, but the dual utility it offers of being a sport bike and also a sport touring bike with a comfy position, this is the bike for you. You're going to be so happy with this purchase, I promise, guys. The sound is amazing in person, the power is amazing, and yeah, so if you end up picking a Ninja 500 or you go with the CF Moto or the Aprilia or whatever you go with, let me know in the comments what you go with. There's a lot of good options out there, but for me the Ninja 500 just hit perfect. And yeah, so have a good day, guys.